For you, the opposite of the 11th is the 5th house, which is where we see sex and dating and flirting and fun.
That's my church.
Saturn was in your 4th house, so maybe we were building something from the ground up.
That day specifically was when I reconnected with Sean, my now husband. It was kind of like I knew on that day. I was like, oh, this is my person.
Okay, big news, you guys. I'm doing my first ever live virtual show, and it's happening on June 11th. I'll be doing a live birth chart reading with a surprise celebrity guest. And if you grab an after party ticket, you'll get to ask us anything as we spill even more tea. So grab your ticket using the link, and I will see you there. Guys, we have Krista and Lindsey here. If you don't know them, they are the podcast hosts and authors of Almost 30. Hi, guys.
Everybody.
Hi.
I'm so excited.
I feel so warmed up.
I know, me too. We've been talking already. We're like, wait, we need to stop because we are on fire.
That's podcasters.
There's
for
12
you.
threads that we have that I'm
Literally.
like, I want to pull on all of them.
Our ADHD brain.
Oh, yes.
Well, you guys love astrology.
Love, yes.
I'm obsessed that you love astrology. And I think spirituality, right? Like that whole world, it all ties together. And I do have your guys' birth charts here so I can answer any questions. I know that you guys already know a lot about your own birth charts, but tell me a little bit about your relationship with astrology when you guys kind of found it or when it found you.
Mm-hmm.
I would say because we've been doing the podcast for like 10 years now, we started it during our Saturn return. So I think that period of the Saturn return, we were like, what is going on with our lives? Why do we feel so lost? Everything felt like it was crumbling and we wanted to find answers and we wanted to learn more about ourselves. So when you moved to Los Angeles, we were both in Los Angeles. I'm from Ohio. She's from the East Coast
I'm
too.
from Ohio.
Where?
Dayton.
Girl, I'm from Cincinnati.
That's crazy.
We
Well,
used to-
I already knew that when I plugged in your birth info,
Okay.
but I forgot and I meant to bring that up.
Ohio people get out.
We get out.
One thing about us is we're going to get out.
We're going to get out.
We're going to leave.
We're going to leave.
We're gonna
And if
leave.
You don't. I'm so sorry.
We
But don't
I
you
love-
feel like
I-
it's like half the people stay and then half the
Yes,
people get out?
yes.
Yes.
You know?
But then the people that leave, we find each other.
Yes.
Like I feel like I always can spot like a Midwestern
Yes.
or even East Coast too.
Yes.
Like we find each
There's
other.
some energy about Ohio. I'm so grateful for living there.
Yes.
But when we moved to Los Angeles, we were like, we just wanted to learn more about ourselves and our lives. And astrology is such a powerful tool for that.
Yeah.
So I think when you're on that path of self-discovery, and especially when you're at a rock bottom point, which is where we were at our Saturn return, you're like, what could I grab onto to learn more about who I am and where I'm going? And astrology was so helpful for that.
It's like a floating device.
It
Totally. It's like we're
is.
drowning. Let me try to swim,
Yes,
please.
yes.
Help
And then
me.
when you like, I knew my sun sign Pisces,
Uh-huh.
but once you figure out the rest of the chart, you're like, oh my, like
I
a
know.
whole new
Yes.
world opens up.
There's people, a lot of people that never even find astrology. Like they live their whole life without knowing their birth chart. Like I'm so grateful that we know our placements. Like it's such a good tool.
it was an unlock for, to sound corny, but self-love.
Mm-hmm.
When I
Yeah.
learned about my chart and just how I'm coded, I was like,
Right.
oh, that's who I'm meant to be. And that's
Mhm.
actually something that can be really powerful. That's
Yeah.
something that could actually help me to get to where I want to go or just like know myself more deeply. And when we found out we were in our Saturn return, we were like,
Yeah.
oh, because we didn't know it when we started the podcast.
Right.
I have a perception of myself as healthy, and there's
Mhm.
nothing you could tell me that would make me
Sure.
think I was not healthy.
It's delusion, which is
Delusion.
Pisces, which is
Straight
like,
up.
don't come into my bubble because
Yes.
over here I'm healthy, I'm safe, and I'm good. I'm
Yes.
vibing.
Yes.
And when people try to get into the Pisces bubble, we're like, why are you doing that?
No,
Yeah.
my Pisces delusion has saved me in dating in
Mhm.
crazy ways.
Ooh,
Like, man
how
doesn't text me
so?
back. I'm like, he literally likes me too much.
Yes,
It's brought up a lot for him.
Yeah, he
He's
has
now
to pull
doing
back
inner work.
because he's
Yes.
obsessed. He needs to go work on why he's so obsessed with
literally,
me.
I'm calling him to king, and he's not ready. Like, it's like so crazy. I'm like, he's
I
not
love
talking
being
to
a
me because he likes me
Pisces.
so much
Yeah.
that he's just like overwhelmed.
So I'm a Capricorn sun, Pisces rising. So then throwing my Capricorn sun in there too, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, like he's just not ready for this.
Yes.
He's not ready. And then the Libra moon though, I'm like, I'm working on that right now. So
What's
now
a
that I'm
Libra moon?
single again.
Yeah.
So the moon sign, I always say it's like what we need. It's the non-negotiable. The Libra moon can get me in trouble because it's flirty. Let's all go through ours. Okay, so Libra moon, I need peace and connection, like deep connection. So that's why I love astrology too, and being able to like connect on a deeper level, but also like aesthetics and like pretty things. But I need love, But then my Capricorn sun is like picky and like, which is good.
Yeah, that's
Which is
helpful.
really good.
Especially with the
Um,
Pisces. I'm Sag moon. So I need play.
You need expansion, travel, play,
Money.
fun, money. Sagittarius, it's all about getting out of your comfort zone. So it's living in your 4th house of home, family, foundation. So what you just said about like the one thing about Ohio is we get out.
That's so true.
Because your Sagittarius moon is in the 4th house. It maybe wasn't easy. There might have been a lot of emotions like leaving family and even like homesickness, maybe growing up because the moon in the 4th is really attached. But Sagittarius isn't. It's like, I got to get out. I got to grow. I got to see the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I would have known that living in Ohio growing up, I'd be so much more
Right.
at peace. You know, I was so like restless in my hometown.
Oh, for sure. I
was
bet.
like, what am I doing?
You're like, I can't wait to get out.
Yeah.
Because I know that I'm meant to do big
Didn't know where I was meant to go, but I was
Yeah.
like, I know I'm meant to get out of here.
Yeah. Okay. And Lindsey, you are a Gemini moon.
Gemini moon, yeah.
So you need connection too. So Libra, Gemini, both air signs. So we need deeper connection. Libra, think more like 2 is better than 1. And then with Gemini, it needs to know everything. Like Gemini is a sponge. It absorbs everything. Also, it's living in your 9th house, which is the house of publishing. It's the house of speaking, foreign travel, getting out of your comfort zone. It's the Sagittarius house. You guys both kind of got that big, expansive energy. But Gemini, so
Yeah,
needing
so
to write and learn and storytell.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. That rings
Wow.
true.
Do you
Yeah.
feel like some aspects of your chart like pop more in your like certain points of your life where you're like,
Totally.
oh wow, I'm really noticing my Venus. I'm noticing my like what do you notice in your life?
Great example. Let's go to you because we were just joking about how you don't think you're that connected to your Pisces sun. Our sun is who we are becoming. So I always think of our sun sign as like the destination. It's kind of where we want to go because it's where we feel happy and confident and proud. So like we want to be there. It's our full potential. So wherever our sun is, think like that's what we're tapping into and we're becoming our sun sign. So you are becoming more Pisces every day. But you also have your North Node in Pisces. The North Node, I call it the queen bee in astrology. It is the point of destiny and purpose. And it's all about the North Node. Like all our planets, they're in the little house doing their job, but they're all working to get us to where the North Node is. Yours is in Pisces. January of this year, of 2025, the North Node entered Pisces. This is a bigger deal for you because you are a Pisces sun with your North Node in Pisces. So you're actually going through your nodal return. And you're Pisces sun. And the North Node increases things. It pulls our soul into that direction. Over the next like 2.5, 3 years, you are really leaning more into your Pisces. Also, it's in your 7th house of relationship and marriage.
Yes, baby.
So someone's coming.
When?
I don't know
When.
Someone's here, but I don't know if that's the
the
one
one.
that's here.
And that's okay. We can keep playing because that's the thing with the North Node is
What
it's
makes you say
about-
someone's coming based on that?
Because the North Node is our destiny point. And when the North Node enters a certain area of our chart, we know that that is kind of what the universe is like pushing you towards. So over the next 2.5, 3 years, the North Node's in your 7th house. It is the house of relationships
No
and
way.
marriage.
Wow.
Yeah. And also, you went through a divorce,
Yeah.
right? Having the sun in the 7th house, because we know that that's where you shine,
Yeah.
relationship, like in the grand scheme of your life, like relationship is a really important area.
Yeah.
Usually sun signs do experience in modern astrology, not every sun sign. If you have your sun in 7th house, I'm not saying you're destined for a divorce. However, there's a lot of identity within your like relationship sector.
Yeah.
So usually there's a lot of lessons we're learning.
Yeah.
And the North Node is there, which quite literally is saying you've never mastered this area before. So we can look at our past life. If we have our North Node in the 7th house, that's where we're going. The South Node would be in your 1st house, which is the house of self. So I like to think of like in your past life, you mastered being a Virgo and you mastered yourself. You were hardworking, independent, efficient. You've been there, done that. So in this lifetime, like, of course you already know how to do that. That's natural to you. It's your rising. But now you're meant to learn how to share your soul with someone else and to
Ooh.
balance. Yeah.
That's
And
beautiful.
this-
You guys are like, oh, I'm like, I'm scared of that.
like, Ally, no,
I
I
literally am
want
like,
to.
I'm nervous, right? I'm like, that is
You're like,
terrifying
I
for
don't
me.
want to.
As a Pisces, I don't know if your Pisces relates to this. I'm like, where do I end?
Yeah.
Where do I begin and where do I end?
And Pisces is literally the zodiac sign
Yeah.
where we actually leave the physical world and we go to wherever,
know.
whatever the other side
Yeah.
is. It's kind of not real. It's otherworldly. We have one foot in the real world, one foot in delusion.
Yeah.
The fact you even are a little hesitant explains it because, you know, it's territory that you haven't explored in a minute, but you're being offered over this next chapter to explore it and to have fun.
I'm
and to
working
lean
on
in.
it. In therapy, I'm like, there's an aspect of me that feels so dissolvable that I'm like, okay, how can I have form? I'm on my own.
Relate so much to
It's
that.
such a weird thing to say if you're like not a Pisces, but I'm like, how do I have form in relationship?
Okay, so this is interesting. We're opposite. I just went through a breakup in January when the nodes switched. So for me, my North Node is in Pisces, but it's in my first house. So I'm being pulled to release a relationship. It's opposite the 7. So we're opposite. So you're leaning into the relationship. I'm releasing a relationship and leaning into me and independence and picking myself back up.
Wow.
So you see how it's like
Yeah.
the North Node's in Pisces for
Yeah.
everyone. And so Lindsey, for you don't have any planets in Pisces. So that doesn't mean that this is not an important time for you. It's just not going to be as transformative and it's not going to feel as personal as it will for you. But for you, it's in your 6th house of day-to-day work and schedules and to-do lists. It's kind of giving like, okay, you're on dates and having fun. And Lindsey's like, okay, I guess I gotta
I have to go to the grocery
X, Y, and
store.
Z
No,
done.
that's actually our life.
That is my life.
We will
Okay, I
talk
guess
on the
I'm
phone in the
doing the
morning, and
job.
I'm like, so this last night, and I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, cleaning up Mav's stuff.
Yeah, it is totally
That's
day
so
to day.
cute. Yeah, you're busy. But also you are going to be asked to have a more spiritual approach to the way that you're busy. Trying to have less of like the chaos and like, okay, maybe I'm meditating 10 minutes before I do my emails or having a more spiritual outlook on it.
Yeah, making space for that. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
It's like when I had Mav, it's like so much of the focus went there, but we also have the business. And I just didn't learn how to make time for that side of it, the spiritual, the moments to myself, which I had cultivated so well. You know, I had to have that 2-hour morning routine, like, but then he comes in and just all my focus goes there.
So you have what is called a stellium in the 12th house, and I do too. And a stellium just means when there's a lot of planets in a particular house, a lot of energy.
I didn't know that.
It means like, okay, in the grand scheme of your life, like this particular house is key. It's really important. And the 12th house is the Pisces house. So the 12th house is where we escape. And it's where we can escape through drugs, alcohol, like the negative escape, or we can escape through music and movies and art and meditation and spirituality. So for both of us having a lot of planets there, at some point in our lives, we've learned, okay, I have to show up here or I'm not going to be able to function. Like quite literally, I will become depressed or I will get sick or whatever. So before Mav, you had your discipline because that's the 12th house. It's like spiritual hygiene basically. But now you're a mom and you're no longer living for yourself. So yeah, how do you balance having a child and still maintaining like your well-being mentally?
I think I'm still figuring it out. You know, I think I've done a really good job in the grand scheme of things because your whole life changes, you know? And we're 20 months in. I'm noticing at this point now that like he and I can very clearly communicate with each other rather than him just being like a blob of an infant and me and just like suckling on me all day. We're able to communicate where I'm understanding how, you know, my ability to take care of myself spiritually, mentally, emotionally, all the things, whether it's in therapy, having meditative moments, doing my music, like things like that really benefit him. You know, I don't think I made that connection before this. I knew it intellectually, but I didn't have the capacity to integrate that. I have a husband who's always like, whatever more help you want, we can get. You need to take care of yourself. But I'm working on that part of me that's like, no, I'm the mother. And like, I need to be the one. So I think what you spoke to kind of the shadow side of that house is like the escape, the alcohol. I definitely saw that during my Saturn return and a little like leading up to my Saturn return where like, you know, I was drinking a lot. I was just kind of numbing out in many ways. I was definitely a deep feeler and would avoid kind of taking that time to connect with myself on a spiritual level and emotional level. But then during my Saturn return and afterwards, I really connected to my practices, but also music. You know, music's always been a part of my life. And I think that cyclical nature of things, I do think it's going to come back around. And I'll have time and space for that. But I've noticed like here and now as a mom, it's a really important aspect of what I bring to my family. So it's like either me cultivating my gifts in music continuously or bringing music into the house. You know, like we do that, but it's like that is a part of how I'm like cultivating joy. I'm
Yeah.
cultivating creativity, movement. Like there's just aspects of that I see that could be really helpful now in my home.
Thank you. Because that was good advice. I don't have children, but I'm 29. So I'm about to complete my
Yes.
Saturn
Wow,
return.
girl.
Welcome.
I thought it was too smooth sailing for a while. I was like, I'm killing it. Like, honestly, is that because I like know what's going
Saturn
on
loves
out
me.
there? Like,
That was us when we did ayahuasca. I didn't puke or anything.
Wait,
I was
you
like,
guys
I'm
did
like
it?
too pure of a
I'm
vessel.
pure.
You're like, I'm too good.
I
I'm
was like,
so
angels
full.
don't have anything happen to them.
Wait, so you guys didn't think it was crazy?
No.
Wow.
It was very gentle.
Yeah. I'm not recommending it to anybody.
Right,
I'm
of course.
kind of just like
because everyone's on their own
saying our own
journey,
experience, but it was beautiful and gentle.
Okay, big news, you guys. I'm doing my first ever live virtual show, StarStruck Live, and it's happening on June 11th. And you do not want to miss this. I'll be in the studio with a surprise celebrity guest for a full birth chart reading, live, which means anything can happen. I can't say who it is just yet, but trust me, it's a good one. And the best part? You get to be a part of it, no matter where you live. You'll be able to chat with me in real time, send in questions, react live, whatever your chart needs that day. And if you grab an after party ticket, you'll get to hang with us after the show. Ask us any questions you want and hear even more tea. So hit the link, grab your ticket now, and mark your calendars for June 11th, my favorite number. I'll see you there. So
Your Saturn return.
yeah, my Saturn return, like, so the first bit of it was really good. Just like a lot of advancements within my career. Also, Saturn's in my first house. So I knew that a lot of the theme would be new beginnings, allowing myself to be seen, which
Yes.
isn't easy with the 12th house placements and a lot of Pisces. Like, I love art and music, but I'd rather like lock my bedroom door and like do it for myself. But my Saturn return was like, all right, you're going out there. So like, are you ready? Like, it's
Wow.
time. So, but then the ending, like the breakup of it all that happened back in December, that's when I was kind of like, okay, there it is. Yep. Because I knew if I was meant to be in that relationship, then Saturn would be committed and want it to work, you know? So the fact that Saturn was like, nope, we gotta try again.
And it's funny, I don't know if this feels true for you, but it's like, you're being pushed to be public and then the breakup was public too.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully, I think that was maybe the big lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think
And
it taught you?
sounds crazy, but to love myself more than a partner
Yeah.
or an idea of someone, just to quite literally also put myself first, like in a healthy way, like what we were saying with the 12th house, not numbing out. Saturn in the first house has a lot of lessons around like how we take care of ourselves. So drinking less, doing yoga, fitting in meditation. So just a lot of like, okay, I am my own adult and like I am the parent.
Love that.
I feel like the
Yeah.
Saturn return period for so many people and people listening, I think for us too, was like I was very self-sacrificing and I didn't really understand it. I didn't understand what I was doing. I didn't know what it meant to be in a healthy sovereign relationship where we could both be individuals. I'm still obviously working on that. I feel like I'm going to be dissolved into my person. But it's like it's hard as women, I think, because we're such givers. We usually see the best in people. Like it's very natural for us to kind of give and just, support people. And I think it's such a reckoning that so many women are doing right now where we're really figuring out how to be our own people and be ourselves and be in reciprocal relationships with men that are supportive and see us. So yeah, it's like not for nothing. And it's really powerful that you did this during this time.
Thank you.
But I think that's what we're talking about, or at least what I'm talking about like spiritual life. It's like seeing the bigger picture. It's like looking at yourself and your role. It's like paying conscious attention to, not only the bad, but also the good, and like really seeing what was happening for you and happening in support of your growth. Because I think when I was less conscious in my 20s, I was looking at every relationship like this person did this to me, they were this, they were that, and I never saw my part in it. And I was in a 10-year relationship. We got married and then divorced. And I learned so much in that relationship. It changed my life in so many ways. And although we're not together, it's still such a beautiful thing because I've chosen to look at it that way.
Yeah.
And I've chosen to see all the beautiful lessons of it, even though, of course, it's so painful. Like what you went through is painful, but you're like, actually, this helped me discover myself. Actually, this helped me see what I want.
Totally. And I'm not saying I'm like fully healed, but I do think having that perception, even through like the tough December, January that I just recently had, like if I didn't have my kind of like spiritual mindset,
Yes.
it would have been a lot harder, you know?
Yeah,
So
it's almost liberating. I almost see like a visual of like if we have resentment or if we don't let go of why did this happen to me, it's almost like
Yeah.
a hook holding you back.
Yeah, that's funny.
And so even though it can be really hard and challenging and just bring you to your knees, the perspective of, wow, I moved through this, I grew through this is such a liberating perspective that I think is incredibly healthy and definitely was something that I only started to adopt like in my early 30s, where I wasn't making it about like, oh, woe was me or I'm the victim of my life, you know?
Mhm.
Did you do that in your 20s? I forget.
Did I do?
Like victim?
Yeah.
I'm not asking because I know
Yeah.
the answer. I
That's so
truly am
cute.
curious.
That's
Yeah.
like some friendship stuff. Like you guys have been around each
We
other
have,
for
but
so
I
long.
forget.
You're like, who are you again? That's
Yeah,
so Pisces.
literally. And
Oh,
also I
yeah.
don't like clock my friends. Like I'm just like there with them. I'm not like remembering like remember that guy.
Like everyone's an idiot and I'm
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, Virgo.
Yes.
Like
Oh my
you are
gosh.
perfect.
So
Yeah. Thank
true.
you.
Like, you literally are.
So true.
Virgo's role is to literally help people. Like that's their role. And so Virgo, I'm sorry, I'm saying it, they're perfect. It is the sign that's here to help others. So they're the efficiency, they have their routines, and obviously you have a million other placements, right? But that is Virgo's job. So like they're here to help.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that was a helpful aspect of my understanding my rising is like I in my life during my Saturn return period wanted to find my purpose and it like drove me insane. Like I was like, I want to be here for purpose. I want to be here to do things in life. And figuring out my Virgo rising was so helpful because I'm like, oh, I am here to serve. Like it helped alleviate that part of me that I felt shame about, that I felt anxiety about, that I felt like overwhelmed by. And I'm like, no, actually, I am here to serve.
Mhm.
And so now that I know this, it's like, what can I do now?
It's kind of like validation, giving you the green light. Like astrology is so great for that. It is a self-help tool. That's how I like to look at it. I went through a phase with astrology where it was like really anxiety inducing because I would like just always be looking up transits and like, oh my God, Mars is opposite Pluto. Like, mom, don't like drive today. Like that part of astrology doesn't serve us. Like it just
Yeah.
incites fear. Obviously, sometimes I look at things like that's just natural, but I think at the most part, I enjoy using it as a positive tool. Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, I want to talk about Jupiter. I love Jupiter. He's my favorite planet because he's very spiritual, manifesting, and he's all about expansion, abundance, wealth, and opportunities. Okay, so my favorite transit of 2025 is that Jupiter is leaving Gemini and going into Cancer. Jupiter loves Cancer. They're like besties. So this is a really beautiful transit for everyone, but I want to see like where Jupiter is about to give you guys abundance over the next year because Jupiter hangs out in a sign for a year. And I always love to pay attention to Jupiter transits because it's like he's just giving us little sprinkles of like abundance and
Beautiful.
good things. Okay, Lindsey. Jupiter has moved into your 10th house of career, reputation, public image.
Oh,
When does the book come out?
book comes out tomorrow.
Book comes out tomorrow, June 3rd. Okay, this is really amazing.
Okay.
Because Jupiter is about to move into Cancer in your 10th house. Jupiter rules publishing. Jupiter
Wow. I just got
Jupiter's-
chills.
Yeah. Jupiter's the planet that pushes things out into the world. It sends things out. It's where we see authors publishing. And it is about to enter your 10th house of spotlight. Like the 10th house is where you're at the top. So Jupiter going into your 10th house of career is quite literally like, let me send this book out into the world.
Wow.
And you'll receive love. Like it's going to bring back rewards and people want to read the book. People want to hear what you guys have to say. Also, you're going to be busy career-wise. So like keeping that in mind, obviously the 10th house is opposite the 4th house where we see family, home, and foundation. But Jupiter is going to be expanding career opportunities for you, at least really at the beginning.
Mhm.
It could feel a little overwhelming, but you'll kind of get into the swing of it and eventually be able to find a better balance.
Mhm.
But just let Jupiter wash over that 10th house because it's going to
Love that.
feel like it's only upgrading.
Very cool.
Yes.
And everyone's
Love
going to
that.
attribute the book just to you, dog.
Yeah, just to me.
Yeah.
I just wrote the book.
I was like, it's Lindsey's book, dude.
I'm dead. Well, okay.
Wait,
You have
that's
Jupiter in
crazy.
your 10th house right now, which is interesting. So Jupiter's been in Gemini.
How cute for us.
It's actually, it's almost like passing the torch in a way.
Wow.
But you have Cancer in your 11th house, which is the house of social groups, friendships, communities. And honestly, it's still an incredibly exposed house.
Yeah.
Like the 10th house is like career and like the role. And then the 11th house is like pushing you out into society. So you both are in honestly really lovely, they're both really positive houses.
And they kind of correlate
They
to
kind
each
of
other.
correlate. Yeah, it's like this is really impacting your like career as a whole. And for you, it's like more of a social moment.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to intertwine.
I don't
with
think I
both
could
of
be
you.
more social, dude.
I know.
I'm so social.
see.
I'm like, Jupiter's making me be more social.
I know.
I'm like,
But I feel also like I
Yeah.
have, in contrast, been not out there, like relatively speaking, compared to like where I've been in the past.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it might
Yeah,
just
that's
be
so
that
true.
like
Well, guess where Jupiter has been for you?
where
It's been right on top of your Gemini moon, which the moon is motherhood. So Jupiter's been expanding quite literally your mother instincts, your nurturing abilities, and your home life.
wow. So I have to wait to have my second child.
No. No, you don't, because Jupiter going into your 10th is still opposite 10th is the 4th house of family, home, and foundation. So that's actually still a really big focus for you
Great.
during that time period.
Juggle.
Mhm.
Yeah, time
Love
to
it.
juggle.
Also remember too that North Node being in your 6th house. So like that's pulling you into work and routines and structure. So
Mhm.
you're busy, but you're learning how to operate with this new life.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
Yep.
it feels totally new.
I feel like you do great. I don't know what.
There's a part of me that all I want to do is just be a mom.
Mhm.
For sure.
Mhm. When Jupiter honestly moves, maybe the energy might shift. I
That's
think
cool.
right now, because Jupiter is on its last leg with your
Yes.
moon sign. So it's really giving all it's got on top
Yeah.
of your moon.
Yes.
And I think there's there's something with mothers in the brain for the first couple years where you're just really child focused. And so maybe there'll be a shift.
Yeah.
You'll just
Yeah.
leave them.
Yeah.
And if not, and if there's not a shift, you're gonna have to.
Well, I have it's interesting because the book is here, but then there's also like New Mom on the Block, kind of the
Mhm.
motherhood aspect
that's
of what I'm
true.
pursuing that like
Yes.
is like still in its nascent stage.
true.
But like as I kind of get my sea legs walking. Yeah.
I do think it's gonna be a big career push, but like you're still bringing your home life into it because of that 4th house being played with. And then for you, you're just having fun. Yeah.
That's
next
one thing
year-
about me.
And then, so the opposite of the 11th is the 5th house, which is where we see sex and dating and flirting and fun.
That is
so,
it.
like,
That is it.
yeah,
That's my church.
yes. Oh, my Cancer's in the 5th house.
Stop.
So we're opposites, but like, we're both going to be having fun.
Okay, good.
Yay.
Okay,
Oh, I
good.
love that.
I love that for us.
She's pulling our career forward and I'm just flirting and having fun.
Your
But
friends
you
are
deserve
social
it.
aspect.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
For how long have you had career forward? You deserve to
That's
have a
true,
little
dog.
fun.
Oh, I love that.
I've
Yeah,
been
the
cracking the
Virgo
whip for
rising.
10
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, this is totally
And
a
all my planets in
moment.
Capricorn. I think I have a Capricorn stellium.
In your 5th house, which is interesting that you say that. So you have Saturn in the 5th house, which is literally like the lesson of you don't have to take life that seriously. Like you can have fun. It's in Capricorn. So it's basically learning, how can I make work fun? How can I bring fun into discipline and into routine and structure? That's what Capricorns try to do eventually. They get better. Capricorn's ruled by Saturn. It's the slowest moving planet, so it brings delays. Wherever Saturn is in our birth chart, that's an area where we can experience delays. If you are interested in having children too, Saturn is in your 5th house, so that does represent you can have children. It just might happen later in
Okay,
life.
cool.
So if
Sounds
that's
great.
something you want.
After I'm
Mhm.
done flirting.
After you're done having fun.
Flying,
Yeah.
dating.
Exactly, because you also have Mars there too. And Mars is opposite.
Ooh.
Saturn is like structures, restriction, discipline, and then Mars is like I'm coloring on the walls, like I'm
Yes.
gambling, risk taking.
Lindsay's pulling the ball forward. I'm gambling and flirting.
I think that there's always going to be with you. Like you are still a Virgo rising at the end of the day. So like you still get the work done and you're still showing up on time. You're going to have a little social butterfly moment. You might even be dating like someone in a friend group or someone that's bringing you into a new friend group, or also like fan base too, and just being
Mhm.
around a lot of energy.
Maybe my man will show up at a book event.
Stop. Isn't that a movie? Wait,
Yes.
what is that?
There was, oh my God, we had an event last night and there was one man there
One
and I
man.
was looking at him. He wasn't cute, but I was like, is he my man that came here for
Okay,
me?
if that is not the North Node and 7th house
Girl.
right now, like everyone you meet, you're like, soulmate?
No, as he started talking, I was like, this could work.
Yeah. Do we love each other?
That's what we
Are
do.
you
No,
obsessed
it's
with
This could work.
psychotic. I was like, he is tall.
Soulmate.
Soulmate. And then he was like, I'm like 30. I'm like, not for me.
So do you like older?
I don't like older, but I don't know I don't know if 30 works for me.
Yeah.
I'll allow it, but I think I would do 30 to 45. I've done 50 and it's not my journey right now.
Okay. So I do have some dates that you guys put in.
Oh,
if you want to
yes,
look at
yes.
those.
Let's do that.
May 5th, 2023. So Saturn just entered your 7th house, Pisces. Still there, by the way. So actually, whatever kind of story started happening around that time is now getting completed. We're kind of reaching the end of that cycle. You're not going through your Saturn return. That's me. But it still entered Pisces, and you still have, your North Node is there, your Sun is there. So your identity did change in some way.
Yes.
And it's in your 7th house. So it might have been around relationships and the people in your life that you're really close with. Also, North Node was in your 9th house. So you were being pushed out in some way, out of your comfort zone. And it's like maybe wasn't super comfortable, but you had to think bigger in some way.
Yes.
Okay. What was happening?
My divorce.
Okay. Yeah. I kind of wondered.
Yeah.
If we make it through Saturn in the 7th or our 1st house and we're still with that person, it was meant to be. Because Saturn would not let us be with someone that is not our person. So the fact that Saturn, and this is Saturn just entered around this date.
Wow.
Saturn is all about mastery and lessons. And he was like, this was great, but we got to do more because your North Node is there, your Sun is there. So Saturn's think of Saturn as the dad. He's like, we could shine a little brighter with someone else. And someone else will fill our purpose a little bit more.
I remember being like, this is good, but I want great. I wanted epic. I want an epic love.
I love that. Those are all for you. Lindsey, you had some. You were going through your nodal opposition, a bit of independence, a bit of tapping into who you are as a person, time to choose you. And it can feel really intense and scary, but that was the direction of where we were going at that time. Also, a lot happening in your 4th house. Mars was in your 4th house. Mars is the planet of action and moving. With Mars, when it transits our 4th house, we can literally move, or we can also just see family dynamics shift in some way or pull apart.
Oh, yeah, girl. That was my move from New York to LA.
Oh, yeah.
Big move. It was a very in the moment decision when I was asked to move to LA or asked if I wanted to move to LA. And I just didn't hesitate. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
And 3 weeks later, or maybe a month later, moved, picked up my whole life.
That's cool.
And it was a decision of choosing me.
Did you two know each other yet?
No.
See, that is the power of the North Node. That is the perfect example. The North Node being in your 1st house, saying yes without overthinking.
Yes.
The nodes, again, it's not up to us. That is some destiny shit. That is the universe.
Yeah.
And you had to go to LA because look at the life that you guys have built. That's so cool.
So crazy.
It was crazy. You were in New York. And then I was in New York, and then you were in LA, and then I was in LA. And her husband knew my ex-husband before we knew each other.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that weird?
See?
Yeah.
Not
The
weird.
It's so
invisible
weird.
string theory is
The
so
invisible.
fun.
It's
so fun. Okay, let's do another date. August 26th, 2022. Did you fall in love?
I got married.
Jupiter in the 7th.
Wow.
You're all over again. I did.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, Jupiter was in your 7th house. My best friend, Jupiter, entered her 7th house last year, and we were doing her chart. And I was like, oh my God, Hannah, Zach's going to propose. And then she told him, and he was like, damn it, Ally.
No way.
No way.
I know, but oops. And I'm going to her bachelorette party next weekend.
Wow.
Jupiter in the 7th. Okay, I have seen a few breakups, but usually, because again, Jupiter is a positive planet. So if you're going through a Jupiter in the 7th transit, we usually see next steps being taken or meeting our person. Or if it's really not the right one, sometimes we'll see an immediate, a random quick breakup, but then you meet someone immediately after.
Interesting.
Jupiter is crazy. Okay.
Mhm.
And then also Mars in the 9th house. So maybe you're moving or traveling a lot or just getting out of your comfort zone, but probably wedding things maybe.
Yeah, we traveled a bit.
Traveling.
Mhm.
Okay. October 11th, 2019. North Node in your 10th house. So career, that's where you were getting pushed at that time within your career world.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, you're making money.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Venus had moved into your second. Mercury was
What does
there.
Venus in the second mean?
So second house is the luxury house. Second is where we make money, and Venus loves to make money. So when Venus goes into the second, it's like we're getting paid and we're enjoying the check. We're like, we're saving, we're Venus, like we want to save, but we want to get good skincare and go shopping and
Yeah.
travel and do all the cute things. Mercury, though, was also in your second house, which is like, okay, we have to get smart, like business minded, like we need some structure. But Mars was in your first house, so you were really busy. You were being pulled maybe in a million different directions. Jupiter was in your third house, which is the house of social media and podcasting. So maybe something around that was happening. Saturn was in your fourth house. So maybe we were buying a house or we were just building something from the ground up. Like Saturn is discipline and builds things. Honestly, though, a lot of energy kind of all over the board.
Yeah,
There's a
it
lot
did
going
feel like
on.
that at the time.
Mm-hmm.
That day specifically was when I reconnected with Sean, my now husband. It was kind of like I knew on that day. I was like, oh, this is my person. But at the same time, we were on tour in New York for the podcast. We were busy doing the most. Like we were in flow.
Really?
Pisces is in your sixth house. Sixth house is where we have our coworkers and work partners and people that we're literally doing day-to-day life stuff with. So, and I love that it's acts of service. And I love that you were saying that, Sean, is like, if you need help, like we'll get you help. Because both you and Sean are activating your sixth house. So it's almost like they're coming in to help you in some way. Like ask them for help, lean on each other. Like we're all here doing this life together. We all got errands and to-do lists and stuff.
And work to do. He's life to
Busy.
do.
Yeah.
Busy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So true. You can get my groceries for me.
Right?
Honestly.
Okay. So August 23, 2023. Bit of a spiritual awakening moment. You were being asked to slow down and to retreat, kind of pause. Your 12th house stellium was getting really activated. Mercury was there, Mars was there, and the sun. So you were quite literally being like, let's go in. And you also had Jupiter in your 8th house, which is when we have like psychic abilities and we can get hidden messages and synchronicities. Also, you were going through your nodal return in your 7th house, and that was on top of Jupiter. This is a really like serendipitous time for you. What was this?
This was when my son was born.
Oh, I love that.
Very psychic, very inward, very yeah.
And sun in the first house is like he's here to be seen.
Wow.
The sun in the first house is powerful.
I could see that.
Yeah. It's almost like his superpower is the sun. Like he's carrying the sun with him in everything he does.
Wow. And then service.
And service.
Yeah.
And just speaking.
Yeah.
He's going to be such a good
he
writer, speaker.
Yeah.
He's speaking so much.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah.
Like, what about the Scorpio moon? Why does that scare me?
I think that this Scorpio moons, they're deep. I'm not a mom, obviously, but I feel like moon signs are always important to talk about with moms because it's how we nurture.
Yes.
You're a Gemini moon.
Yes.
He's a Scorpio moon. Very different. But the good thing with the Gemini is like communication and being able to like let him feel seen and heard and safe. Scorpio moon, I think because he has that Virgo. So like he's good. He's showing up. He's doing things, but he's going to probably have a really niche passion or something he's really interested in, maybe music or art, like something he maybe gets from you. He's going to be magnetic. People are going to be quite literally obsessed with him.
Yeah.
I love Scorpio moons, but it's the mystery of them, you know? So we don't really know.
I love that.
But it'll be fun.
So I'm having fun and flirting.
You're having fun and flirting.
I'm meeting my man.
Meeting your soulmate.
Meeting my soulmate. I'm very social. I mean, sounds about right. I'm on my path.
I'm
on
your
my path.
for sure.
Yeah.
For
I feel like this was
so fun.
Yeah, this was so much fun.
Yay.
You're so
Thank you guys.
good.
So
You're
magnetic.
Yeah, you're just, you're amazing.
Thanks. You guys
Yeah.
are amazing. And
Yeah.
I'm like so excited to turn 30.
I know.
I'm 29.
I'm so
I know. This is like,
excited
is
for
this
you.
not serendipitous?
No,
The
for
fact that I get to
real.
meet you guys
When you
at
said that, I was
29?
like,
I
because I
know.
feel like that we've been through our Saturn return in our 30s, like the later part of our 20s. It was just such a powerful portal. And I think for us, the reason why we wrote the book was because we wanted to support people in feeling like they weren't lost and feeling like they weren't behind in life, that they were just becoming who they came here to be. And we know how hard it can be to not know and to wonder and to like have breakups and these like tower moments of our lives. And our hope in the book is that we can guide people through the process of their, later 20s, early 30s. Yeah.
I cannot wait to read.
I know. I
Like,
can't wait to read
This
it.
is right up my alley.
Yeah, literally got you. Got your new Bible.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much for coming.
You're the best.
Thank you guys. I'll see you later.
Buy the book.
Yes.
Ah,
Yay.
So cool.
Bye.
Yay.
Thank you.